I think he created all the songs so that it can have like it's a double entendre. It's a message for something, but it's also a song for armies, which he was very open about in his interviews. So okay, who was I talking with? The one that was, oh, Mickey. Make sure that you take a break, because if the platform realizes that you're not stopping, then they're going to discount your tweets, so your stream. So make sure that you take a break for an hour or two, and then come back. There is one with Jin, Hobie, Jimin, and Jungkook for Running Wild. I know. I mean, uh, Army is simply the best when it comes to edits. Okay, here are some of my observations. As you know, these are his tracks, and he co-wrote four of the six. And one of the ones that he co-wrote is actually ended up being my favorite, which is Falling. So if I rank it, I would say Falling is my first. Another Level is my second. Running Wild, I'll Be There, Heart on the Window, and then the last one. I'll come to you. Okay, one thing is that one he said that the album description is actually that this is supposed to be about the different sources of happiness for Jin, where he gets things that makes him happy, things that make him happy. And but one of the things that I sort of observed during his in the entirety of the album is that happiness for him is not really a destination. It's more of a process. Almost all the songs is transient. It's a transition from one place to another. It's not really the fulfillment of a love or the reaching a goal or achieving a an ambition or objective. It's all about the journey that he needs to take from one place to another. So I think for him, happiness is more a process rather than a destination. And I think that is actually one of the ways that makes him such an adaptable person. He gets along with life so easy. Like he knows how to navigate life because he's not really very conscious about where he's going to end up. For Running Wild, for example, it's about him encouraging us to never go gently into that good night. Like, don't give up just because things are going, you know, chaotic. Just don't give up. Um, it's his way of saying, let's just run like we used to, like when we were young until the very end. I'll Be There is a promise that he will keep on singing for us. That while we go through our journey, he's going to stay there and continue singing for us. Another Level is actually a song about games. I know you probably know that by now, but it is a song about games, gaming, which is a big part of his life and very consistent with the theme that happy is actually the different sources of happiness for him. And as we know, he's a gamer, he loves gaming. And so this is about not giving up so that he can level up. He can go to the next stage or next level of the game. Falling is about the person or thing that he wants and how he continues to try and achieve that thing or that person or that goal or that ambition. And Heart on the Window is a promise to leave his heart on the window to make sure the other person sees it. Like, I'm just going to leave it here so that when you pass by, you know that I'm still thinking of you and that you know that I still love you. So everything is, and then I Will Come to You is, of course, a song for armies. His commitment to continue being there. So it's all a process. He's not saying, like, in the end, we're going to be together, or that in the end, we're all going to be happy, or that in the end, we're all going to be famous, we're going to be seeing each other. It was never about that for him. It's just about him making sure that we know, that the audience knows that he's going to try and be there for us till the end. So for him, happiness is a process. Next, Running Wild is it's polysemous actually. Polysemous. Okay, so it has the you can take the song and put different meanings into it, and I think it is, of course, intentional. Like, if you read the lyrics, it can be about the recklessness of youth. So there's a way that we can fly again. Remember how we used to love back then. So it kind of reminds you of how you were when you were younger, living like we had no end. Let's stay out all night. Remember how we used to long ago. We can miss the last train home. So the we can miss the last train home is some of the it stands for some of the reckless decisions we've made in our youth, that we do it just because we wanted to, not really thinking of the consequences of our actions. But it can also be about the people that you lost and that you want to get back, and how you want to make sure that you are going to keep them once you get them back. So don't forget about the times that we shared, all the places that we used to go, living like we've ruled the world. Okay. But it can also be about encouraging other people to keep on going. We'll be running wild, loving till the sun is out, running till there's nothing left, till our last breath. Or it can just be a promise about staying together till the end. We'll be running wild, loving till the sun is out. It's the same lyrics, but different interpretation. So I think that is one of the major reasons he actually decided to make it the carrier single of the entire album, because there's so many meanings that you can put into it, that it actually becomes an ideal song for syncs. So sync is the terminology that the music industry in the West is using for songs that is being used as a theme song for many, for TV shows or for movies or for um, theaters or for commercials. So if a song is picked up and used for those, you get royalties for that. That's called the sync. So because this song is so versatile in terms of meaning, it actually becomes very an ideal song for sync. So I hope he gets a sync, because that's going to make him a very, very rich guy. Just like it made Jimin very rich when his song was picked up for a Marvel movie. Okay. And by the way, that's one of the keys when you want to write a song that will be ideal for syncs. It has to be generic enough, but it should invoke emotions. Okay. Next, I love how when everyone left, he stayed in the MV. So you can see everybody running away, but he is staying with a dog, which actually made me question, is Army supposed to be the dog? Because he's staying with the dog, he's keeping us company. So I love that. And also, that when he decided to stay with the dog, it's not like he did anything special with the dog. It's just that he just continued doing the mundane and the everyday things with the dog. He was watching a movie, playing in the beach, which again is very much Jin, because that's the kind of person he is. It's not about big things or special things. He just wants to be there and enjoy the everyday things. I also thought that it can be a little, maybe there's a loose connection, although I don't think he ever mentioned it. I'm not done watching his live, but I felt that there was a connection with the astronaut, because there's a common theme of asteroids and, atmospheric whatever. But I felt that in the astronaut, he landed on Earth because his spaceship crashed, and he in the end he decided to stay. And then here, when everything is, because there's asteroids coming and whatever, everyone's running away, but still he was the one who decided to stay. So I thought there's a connection to that. I don't know if I'm right. As I've said, I'm not done watching his live. Maybe I can pick up something from it. Next is that there is a consistent irony of genre versus theme. So, meaning, the entire album sounds like yesterday, because it's very much like 90s, even 80s rock, but all the messages are actually about the future. It's about looking forward and stuff like that. Um, for example, Running Wild is like Brit pop, but it talks about staying together till the end. So the sound is from yesterday, but the message is for the future. I'll Be There is a blend of early rock and roll with some elements of country music, and it's about, it was him promising that he will continue singing for us in the future. Like when everyone else is gone, he will stay there, and we will still find him singing. Another level is more modern pop rock, not really industrial, but a little bit of that. But it talks about continuously progressing in life. Falling is indie rock, and it's understandable why. I mean, the co-composers are Toru and Taka of One OK Rock, but it's about making his way towards the one that he loves. Heart on the Window, one of your favorites, is power pop rock, which is very much one of the classic subgenres of rock. but it's about continuing to love through seasons and generations. Next is that Heart on a Window is melody driven song. I don't know if you noticed this, but okay, I think you're gonna hear it. Okay, so if you hear that drum sound, it's actually consistent throughout the song. It went in at around, I think, 15 seconds, and then it never left, and it was consistent. Basically, the beat was consistent the entire song, and the only thing that was making the song um, sound dynamic was the change in melody and the voices of Jin and Wendy, which is a very, very difficult thing to do. But they managed to pull it off because they have beautiful voices. They know how to actually sing, and we love the message. So I hope that they do more projects in the future. And as I've said, I hope that Wendy actually gets more projects that will give her a chance to really showcase the beauty of her voice. Next is Life Indeed is Like a Game. And we know that if you are a gamer, if you are a gamer, you would know that it's a continuous cycle of battles, little victories before going into the next battle. And if you would, and he perfectly captured that in the lyrics of his song, and that he did it well because he himself is a gamer. He said, I will keep on fighting even if I'm endlessly driven. I'll never stop. Nobody can stop me. Even if the harsh storm blows harder, I'll make one more step. So if you are a gamer, you know that that's just basically what you're doing. You're going to fight, level up, battle the boss, go on to the next level. But he also has this very non imposing kind of love, and he expresses it very, very well. He continuously commit and promises without asking for anything in return in the entirety of the song. So lines like "I'll sing for you," "I'll take you there," "I'll leave you a heart on the window," beyond time I waited for you." It's all about him just saying, "I love you. I'll do this for you. I'll do anything for you. I'll be here for you." But he isn't really asking for anything in return. He's not saying that I'll continue to be here and wait for you. It's just that, or wait for you until we end up being together. It wasn't about that for him. It's just him loving. And that's why I said it's a reckless kind of love, because he doesn't really care about the consequence. He doesn't care if some armies will stop being armies in the future. For him, for as long as he can sing, he will continue to be there. And then I think one of the most important takeaways I got is the concept of happiness for him is very different. It isn't always about the destination, as I've said in the beginning. It's about the process. But also, it takes on different forms for him. It can be joy in the mundane moments, like him and the dog actually watching movies. For him, that's happiness. Playing in the beach, playing fetch, that's happiness for him. Or it can also be with a little bit more with more depth, like promise of support and companionship, or commitment to continue trying. So there's different levels of happiness for him, and he was able to communicate that in the entirety of the song. Also, the entire album has a three-act structure. Running Wild and I'll Be There. So three-act structure is usually used for movies. If you watch a movie, in the beginning, there's a build-up, you set up the problem, and then the problem happens. There's like conflicts, confrontations, people get hurt, you lose people, you try to chase the solution and whatever. So it's a three, and then the resolution once you resolve everything. So follow most commercial films follow this kind of structure, and the entire album also follows this kind of structure. Running Wild and I'll Be There is a setup. So it was just about him saying, "Oh, I'll be here for you. No matter what happens, I'll be here for you." And then conflict starts in another level in Falling, because that's when he starts chasing the other person. He starts chasing progress. He starts chasing the future. And then Heart on the Window and I'll Come to You is the resolution, because in the end he finally says, "I will just be here for you. No matter what happens, I'll be here for you. You can just come whenever you want and I'll be here for you." Also, I saw a different side of Jin this time, because in The Astronaut, he was very cosmic. In many of the past songs that he had, He was very moon, the astronaut. There's another one, but he's very cosmic in his imagery, very out of this world, like out there. But in here, his imagery is very much here. It's very much present, very much ordinary, but very special. If you're a gamer, you would know that going into the light, because in the another level song, he mentioned something about going into the light, walking into the light. It's the usual sign when you are leveling up in a game. So when you're either leveling up or going into the next stage, you actually usually walk into um, the light. So, and that is a an imagery that he used in the album, in the lyrics of his album. And then I leave my heart on the window is another imagery, a very ordinary imagery. We all do this when there's like what whenever we can draw something on anything, we do it. And so I thought that that was a welcome change in the way that he uses his imagery instead of describing the outer space or whatever he finally landed on Earth. And this is not included in the album, but if you have read his interview in Billboard, he pissed off a lot of solos because he did say the question is, Billboard said, I listened and I wondered if you had ever considered creating your own band in the past or teaming up with rock act as a side project. Which, by the way, I also thought of. I was like, why can't he just do like a gin band or something, for his solo project, while he where he will actually have a like a fixed members in his band whenever he does his solo projects. But his response is, of course, way more beautiful and way more touching than I can ever think of, because he said the only band I now and forever will be a part of is BTS. Band music is a genre I'm personally interested in, and I enjoy exploring different styles as solo artist. But at the end of the day, my roots and connection to music will always be with BTS. And I thought, oh, I there is no better response than that for me. I think he, because it's twofold, he was able to emphasize that as a solo artist, he will do what he wants. He will push his limits. He's going to experiment and continue to look for ways on how to improve. But he also said that at the end of the day, I will always go back to BTS. So he didn't take away his individuality as an artist, but also he didn't take away his love for his brothers, which is BTS. Okay, what did you think of his album? I just got here. Why is she in a coma? Because I'm sick. I'm Georgia. I'm sick. Jin's window wiper lamp. Georgia, she's yeah, I'm a bit sick. The Astronaut is a beautiful song. I always listen to it and watch it. Yeah, that's another thing that he mentioned in his interview in Billboard, that The Astronaut remains to be his favorite solo song. So I thought it was incredibly honest of him to say that. Because while it is true, some singers would strategically mention something in their current album just for marketing, but for him to say that, no, that's still my favorite. I saw it. It's so Jin. He's just like whatever. He's just going to say the truth. Mickey, wait, what? What are you waiting what for? Um, I'll Be There was so refreshing when it was released. It was a bright spot during a negative news cycle. It touched me. True. The album took me back to my teen years in the 60s Beach Boys on. It's a little bit it kind of reminds me of new wave even. Something going on the numbers of views in his MV in YouTube. I think we have proven that, right? I think there's a group of people, not like a regular group, but several people in YouTube that was able to prove, oh yeah. So they compared the views of Dolby performance of Jin and the MV views of Jin. And the Dolby performance got more views, which proves that there's something, because we will always support the original MV more. So for the Dolby performance to have more views than the original music video, there's something. I love all 6 songs. Love the entire album. I can't wait until he is on Jimmy Fallon. Me too. Just got on. Did I miss anything? Me too. I just discussed my observations on Jin's album. YouTube is doing something about the views. Yeah, I think so. Someone has to do something about this. I don't know. Hive America needs to have a meeting with them. I always love your insight on things on the top of my follow list for sure. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I will. I'm gonna sweat it out. Tomorrow I'll be better. I love his old. I still want him to explain what happened to Watto. I think Watto stowed away in Jin's duffel bag because Jin needed him more. No, I think Watto just decided to abandon us. I can't believe he just went on tour with Coldplay and did not pay attention to us for an entire 18 months. And he just went back when Jin actually did his comeback. But he didn't finish his countdown. So, yeah. But the thing is that he is the one that Jin is using for his merch, which I think, by the way, just a side note, um, this only goes to show that BT21 really has a life of their own by now. It is very rare that BTS has mentioned BT21, but they constantly release new merch. They have For my Patreon subscribers, I have news for you. I was able to get some numbers on BT21. I'll do a special just for Patreon subscribers. But anyway, they constantly release new lines, new products, and they are really earning a lot. So that only goes to show that BTS has been able to develop an IP that can stand on its own without the name of BTS and without BTS promoting them. That's a good sign. I've discussed in the past the importance of having a merch, having some products that will stand the test of time and that will transcend the artist itself for them to continue earning past their prime or even when they start slowing down as performers. And BTS was able to do that with BT21 because as I've said, they are rarely promoting BT21, but it has a life of its own now. What did I miss? Easy. I discussed my observation on Happy. Honey with cinnamon. Rub Vicks on the bottom of feet, then put socks. Helps with cough. I'll try that. They even create animations. Right. Yeah. So that's really good. I always see locals use BT21 stickers online. Gonna get my sister something RJ for Christmas. I will be giving away some my general Christmas gift to everybody is BT21. Because I want to spread. I want to promote BT21, so I'm going to get them something. Chicken soup and open windows for fresh air sunlight. Yeah, so my mom is actually here, thank God. So she's making soup for me to try and help me perspire. It's just so hard to perspire in this weather because it's cold now.